Welcome to the exciting and new podcast. This is a mini, and I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Brian.
I'm old. Just sitting in this chair is painful.
Wait, who's that fourth person? I'm old.
Yeah. I think that's all. That is the ghost of all of us in here.
Yeah.
I've been rolling around on the floor while we're watching our shows. I lay on the living room floor and I pull my knees up to me and I roll back.
Does that help?
It does. Actually.
I got to start doing something.
It's like
I am in
some sort
agony.
of yoga, basically.
Yeah, it's like
doing,
stretching
right?
and stuff crackles and stretches. And
I was what's today? Sunday?
Yep.
On Friday night, we were just like sitting around playing trivia, like just stupid trivia card games, like outside on the patio. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting in like a really hard, really uncomfortable patio chair, and then slept on an air mattress that night because I was sleeping on an air mattress like that whole time I was in Alabama.
Oh.
And then woke up Saturday morning just like, ooh, that doesn't feel right. And then had an extremely long Saturday, and I'm still like all day yesterday. I was just like, and today I woke up and I'm like, no, still, come on.
Air mattresses are the devil.
This air mattress is actually a good one, but I think it was just the way I had been sitting all night. It was like stiff, and then I get on the and you know my back's bad anyway.
Just so you want to be once you get back to your home bed.
Oh,
you know,
believe me,
nothing
dude.
beats that. You know
Yesterday was I cannot wait to get in my bed kind of day. So I'll go into detail, but I did watch a few shows also.
Right, why don't you kick it off then?
Well, I finished Last of Us while I was I went to Florida and Alabama this last week, and while I was in my in-laws' house one night, Michelle and I were just like, we got to get out of this room, and so we went into our bedroom and watched Last of Us, the finale. It was very good finale to a very good show. I highly recommend it. I was actually recommending it all week to every person that I came in contact with. I was like, "Do you watch Last of Us?" No. Oh, you got to watch it. It just ended. It's really good. Had a good time watching it.
Did you watch that, or did you watch it?
No, I have to finish it.
I know Connor was watching because he asked me every time I saw him.
He asked me if I was watching.
He's like, "Did you catch up? Did you catch up?" So tomorrow I'll be able to tell him I actually caught up, and it was very good. Very well. I was gonna say fun. I don't know if fun's the right word. But
I heard nothing but good things about the finale.
Yeah, it was good.
I didn't watch it.
Good.
I'm having a problem watching anything but Korean shows.
No.
And I started Mandalorian, stopped after 15 minutes, started the new Blood and whatever on Netflix, stopped after 20 minutes.
What's Blood in?
I forget the name of it, but it's something I've been waiting to come back, and I just couldn't. I was just like, all I'm thinking about is finishing this Korean K-drama I started. Last of Us. I'm like, I know if I try and watch it, I'm just going to get pulled away. I have to have nothing on my plate, and then I can get back to the normal stuff.
Well, what's the show that's distracting you?
So this one is, Christine and I started one, and then she didn't want me to watch it. She wanted to watch it with me. So I started another one after like 6 episodes in. And then she came in after like 2 episodes of me watching this other one, and she's like, I like this one better. We're going to watch this one. So it's What's Wrong with Secretary Kim? And it's about the secretary who resigns. First episode, she resigns from her job working 9 years for this vice chairman of a corporation. And it's just about him like not being able to handle the fact that she's going to be gone. And then, of course, I'm falling in love and whatever.
Is it a comedy or?
It's got dramatic elements. It's got comedic elements. It's more of a comedy,
first
I'd
season?
say. Yeah, it's one and done. So it's like one season, and there's really no reason to go on.
So you got to watch that. Did you
So I got
finish that?
2 more episodes left. We're watching tonight.
And then you have to watch the other show that you're beginning to watch.
Finish
Christine.
Run On. Yeah, because that show I liked. She didn't like it as much, but I really liked that one. So I want to finish that one, and then I'm not going to start anything.
And then you'll be done with Korea for a while.
The
entire Asian continent. And
Until something pops out. You know, something new might show up.
I have a list of what I want to get back into, but I need to do Last of Us. I need to do Mandalorian, and I have to do. Oh man, what's the other one?
Mandalorian's still live.
The good thing about Brian is that he can't read Korean, so he makes his list and then doesn't know what he wrote down. He's like, none of this makes any sense to me. Oh man!
All right, well, I guess I'll bring up. I watched Cocaine Bear.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
In the theater?
it.
In the theater?
I didn't go to the theater to see it. No.
Oh, okay.
but it was fun.
Yeah, I've heard that's another one I've heard nothing but good things about. Like I've heard it's silly, but it's
so ridiculously. I mean, you got to suspend belief. Obviously, it's loosely based on a true story because it really did happen where they were throwing cocaine into the forest there or whatever, but a bear actually ate it and I believe died shortly after.
Just had a heart attack or something like that. Yeah.
So, but then all the hijinks and everything are what was made up. So, but it was fun. Yeah,
I heard it was really good.
Yeah,
Elizabeth Banks directed it.
Yeah, she directed it, which was surprising because it was pretty. I guess crass with some of the humor and stuff like that. So, but it was fun. But
she looks like she reminds me of,
but she's like this Wet Hot American Summer, the state. Mm-hmm. She's done stuff with that because she was in Wet Hot American Summer, and she's like worked with some of those guys. So she's like that. Yeah. So it was really fun. Yeah.
Cool. I'm glad.
Carrie liked it.
Oh, they saw it too. The two of them saw it. Connor and Carrie.
I don't think Connor was a fan of it. But
really, what a surprise!
It was too lowbrow for him.
Yeah. Well, everything can't be philosophical. You know,
I like lowbrow.
Sometimes you just need a cocaine bear running around.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I really watched this week was, I did watch the latest episode of Mandalorian. In fact, just like 10 minutes before you guys walked in the house, I watched it. But Ted Lasso season 3 started.
Oh, that's right.
Season three. Yep.
That's another
one.
Fourth one.
That is great. Yeah. That is a great show. So it was only one episode, so I can't comment much more than
that's Apple TV, but I can comment on Shrinking. I'm caught up on and Hello Tomorrow.
Okay,
both two shows.
Yeah, Shrinking. I think we have one more episode.
Two shows on
that I want to watch.
That I really enjoy.
I watched the first episode of Shrinking. I really liked it.
Yeah, that's a really good show. In fact, Michelle and her mom watched the first 2 episodes in Florida when we were there because I guess.
Oh, you watched that without her, right? Yeah.
Well, Michelle and I watched it together, but I think she wanted to get her mom into it, so she watched a couple episodes. I spent a lot of time reading in Florida. I was reading this book, really good Winston Churchill book, which I won't go into, but I was reading while they were watching TV. I was in Florida. We flew out of Trenton last Saturday and arrived in Fort Myers, and it was fine. Rented a car, no problems whatsoever. So we were there till Wednesday morning, and then we drove from Punta Gorda, Florida to Foley, Alabama, which, it's really tricky when you think you're driving from Florida to Alabama, but the Florida panhandle is so long. Like by the time we got to Alabama, we were in Central Time. We were like an hour and a half from New Orleans. I was like, what the fuck? Like we kept driving and driving. And then I looked on a map and like, you'll look at where Alabama starts and where we actually were because the panhandle just cuts so much of the bottom of Alabama. So
it has that little nub there.
We were like 3/4 of the way through Alabama before we actually hit Alabama because that was a rough day. Driving 8 hours to get there. Man, that was tough. But whatever. We got there. It was fine. We had a good time with our friends there. We screwed around. It was a good time. And then yesterday happened. So we were flying out of Pensacola because that's the closest airport to Foley, Alabama. Pensacola is like 45 minutes away, but it wasn't a direct flight. Had to go from Pensacola to Orlando to Philadelphia. Okay. Not ideal. I don't like taking off at all. So taking off twice in one day, I was like, this is going to suck. So anyway, we drive over to Pensacola for our flight. It's already been delayed. So I'm already like, oh my God. I'm like, all that's going through my head is like, we land in Philadelphia at like 7:45. My head will be on my pillow by 9. Like that's what's keeping me going. I'm like, my head will be on my pillow at 9 p.m. Just get me to 9 p.m. I don't care how it gets there. Just get me to 9 p.m. As we're boarding the plane in Pensacola to go to Orlando, Michelle's like, our flight in Orlando just got canceled. Not delayed, canceled. I'm like, what? So I'm like, well, we have to figure it out like when we get there or something like that. We'll figure it out when we get there because it's like seriously like a 45-minute flight. Yeah. Like we took off and the guy's like, okay, seatbelt sign is going to stay on because we're just going to prepare ourselves for landing. Like, so we land in Orlando at like 5:00 ish, and our bag was tagged to go to Philadelphia. So we're like, where's our bag? They're like, well, they would have taken it off because they know that flight was canceled. So we go to where all the bags that got taken off. Our bag's not there. Today's now Sunday afternoon. We still don't have our bag. We don't know where our bag is. Like, and it's not a lot of important stuff. I said to Michelle, the most important thing is my City Gardens t-shirts in there. I was like, damn, I'm like, I need my City Gardens t-shirt. But it's just like clothes and like nothing important. Like we had all the important stuff, phones, Kindles, Michelle's medication, like that shit was on our bringing it on the plane bags.
On your person?
On our personal bag thing. You have a personal bag. So we're in Orlando. We're trying to figure it out. So it's like 5 o'clock. She's like, there's a 8 o'clock flight Frontier. We were flying Spirit Frontier to Philly, 7 o'clock. Michelle's like, what do I do? I'm like, book it. I'm like, book it. Like, of course, book it.
Was your car at Philly?
Logan was going to be at Philly.
Okay.
Logan was picking us up. Poor Logan. Like, not to fast forward the story too much, but like Logan was on call to pick us up at 7, 9, 12, 2, 3. So, yada, yada, yada. The flight kept getting delayed and kept getting delayed and kept getting delayed. And at one point, like we were in line doing the TSA check-in, like the cattle herd thing. And all of a sudden Michelle's like, our flight just got delayed till 10. I'm like, motherfucker. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to go through TSA and then have to wait 4 hours over there. So I just started like going through the things, like opening the cattle herd things, the things that keep you in line. I just started opening and walking through them. And one of the guys is like, you have to put those back. I'm like, you guys canceled my fucking flight. You lost my fucking bag. You can fucking do it yourself. And I just walked by him. He's like, you got to do that. And Michelle like turned around. She's like, I'll do it. And the guy's like, I'm sorry for you. To Michelle, I'm like, fuck you. I was like right in his face and just like walked away. And I was all fired up, which was actually the most fired up I got the entire time. Cause I was really kind of like, what can you do? There's nothing you can do about it. The flights are canceled. What are you going to do? The flights get delayed. What can you do? But I was so fired up at that point. And that was really kind of it. Like I got a beer right after that. I calmed down. I was good. Eventually we went through the TSA thing. We get on that side. There are 2 flights to Philly, both Frontier. One's like scheduled to take off at like 10:30. Ours is like now scheduled to take off at like 11. I said, Michelle, I'm like, can we get on the 10:30 flight? And so she goes over there and it's solid booked. Like, all right, I guess we're not getting on that one. Well, yada, yada, yada. Their pilot never showed up. We got on our plane and took off before they even got on their plane. In fact, our captain made an announcement as we're in flight going like, for anybody that was concerned about the other flight going to Philly, their pilot just showed up and they'll be boarding in the next 15 minutes. But we're already like, probably like over South Carolina by that point. I was like, what the fuck, man? Those people were like, they were starting like a chant, like, refund our money, refund our money. They were screaming and yelling. And I'm just like sitting there like, holy shit. Dude, I am telling you, like, so then there was a flight to Puerto Rico right over here. So all in this one gate area where, you know, you have your like 8 common area places where everybody's boarding flights. The San Juan flight over here. They started boarding. I don't even know what happened, but a woman went running onto the plane, like past the people scanning tickets, went running on the plane. 3 like I don't know if it was a Frontier person or not, whatever flight it was, went running on the plane. They shut the door. Like they're like, we're suspending boarding. Like everybody's in line to board the plane. We are suspending boarding to the flight going to San Juan. I'm like, holy shit, what's going on over there? Cops came over. Like everybody's just standing in this line for like the longest time. And I'm like, looking, I'm like, what's going on? Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Finally, the cops go on the plane. Like the staff goes on the plane. 10 minutes go by, 15 minutes go by. I'm like, what is going on in there? And then people get off. A guy with a stroller and a kid in a stroller. A woman with a kid in her arms and like another older lady holding hands with a kid. And they just got them over and they put them like in a section over here. And then they started boarding the flight. And those people just stayed there. And the cops were like watching them.
Damn.
And everybody boarded the flight and the flight left. And those people were still there. And the cops were like talking to them. And I don't know what they did. I don't have any idea what they did because I think they're actually speaking in Spanish. But I was just like, because everybody's like kind of like looking like, I was like ready to like, I had my phone ready to go. I'm like, this shit's going up on TikTok. I want to see like gunplay
World
or something
Star.
like that. Yeah, but I don't know what really happened because they were far enough away that I didn't get any of the words they were saying, even if I understood them. But So that's going on. The ride over here. So, oh my God. So then we're getting on the plane. They finally start boarding us at like 1:45 a.m. So we've been in airports since we dropped
so much for that 9 p.m.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Believe me. Like now I'm thinking like, am I going to be asleep can I be in bed by 3? I was not.
You're not going to be home in time for the podcast?
We got back to our house at 4:41. So my head hit the pillow at like 5 after we walked in and pet the dogs and finally went to bed. So
the dogs are like, "What are you doing?"
We're getting on the plane. We're getting on the plane and like, so there's this little like display where they show you if your bag doesn't fit in here,
it won't fit in.
It fits in here.
Frontier's been tough about that, right?
So it's this Frontier. So if it doesn't fit in here and it fits in here, you have to pay as a carry-on, which is like $100 or something like that. And you can't shove it in. You can't make it fit in this one. And this guy starts like shoving it. He's like, it fits. He takes a picture of it and he goes up to the guy. He's like, look, it fits. And he's like, sir, it doesn't fit. You shoved it in there. Yeah, you're going to have to pay for a carry-on. I was like, absolutely not. I will not pay. And he runs away. And then this one guy is just standing like right by the gate, just standing there. Young guy, a lot of spring break people and stuff like that. So there was just this young guy standing by the gate. His girlfriend's over there trying to get her bag down to fit. Like she's taking clothes out and putting them on so they are on her, not in her bag, so her bag will just fit. And the guy's just standing there, and the Frontier guy's like, "Sir, you're gonna have to move. You're gonna have to move." He's like, "I'm not moving." He's like, "I am not moving." And I am next in line Andy is next in line to go on the plane. And Michelle's like, don't do anything. Because she can already see it. I'm going to be like, dude, get the fuck out of here so I can get on the plane so my head can be on a pillow in 3 hours. And so the guy closes the door. Ladies and gentlemen, Frontier Flight Philadelphia has suspended boarding because the person up here refuses to move. I'm like, oh my God. So I am like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Now I can't even get on the plane. And only like 20 people have gotten on the plane so far. So the plane's not going anywhere. And finally, but not like a minute later, like 5 minutes later, the guy finally just like walks away, like, because people are screaming and yelling, like, get the fuck out of the way. And I was not one of them, but
you wanted to.
So finally we get on the plane, we sit down, we blah, 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 blah. We get ready to go. And the pilot actually comes out and he's like, listen, everybody, I know everybody has had a long day. He's like, my day started in Colorado at like 9 o'clock this morning. I got a nap like at 3 in, where do you say it was? Charlotte or something like that. And now I'm on. He's like, everybody just calm down. I'm going to get you to Philly. He's like, here's what we're going to do. He's like, it's 2 hour and 45-minute flight. He's like, I'm going to get us there in 1 hour and 27 minutes. What? And everybody starts screaming and yelling like, what? Like, he's like, I am going to go as fast as this plane can possibly go. He's like, we got a great
headwind.
He's like, we got a great tailwind, but it's going to push us along. He's like, I am telling you right now, I will get us there in 1 hour and 27 minutes. And he got us there in like 1 hour and 40 minutes. Like, he got us there so, like, we were going, you could feel like we were going fast. Anytime like he hit, because it was a little rough, a little bumpy here and there. Every time it got bumpy, you could just feel the plane like raise up and speed up. Like at 50,000 feet in the air, you felt like the speed. Like, this guy's like, nah.
He's passing.
Like, nah, this turbulence is not going to slow me down. He's like, now I'm in 5th now, motherfucker. He's like, I am passing this turbulence.
He's like, I got to make these passengers happy somehow.
So everybody was really happy. We landed, and then we land and we start taxiing to the gate, and he's like, ladies and gentlemen.
There's 30 planes in front of me.
Ladies and gentlemen, no good deed goes unpunished. There is no gate available to us. He's like, it's going to be at least 15 minutes. He's like, I don't know what to tell you. He's like, I don't know what to tell you. He's like, we got here too fast, I guess. And it wasn't even 15 minutes. It was like 10. Like all of a sudden, he's like, oh, a gate just opened. I'm taking it. Like, I don't know if he was supposed to. He was just like, and we were actually, Michelle and I got the seats on the emergency door. So we had extra space and stuff like that. And the steward, flight attendant was sitting like in front of us, looking at us, like their little jumper seat. And so I was like talking to her, like at the end of the flight, I'm like, are you guys done now? She's like, I've been with him all day. She's like, I started in Colorado today. She's like, I go. She was like yawning as she was talking to me. Like, she's like, I got to take a nap. I was like, you people, man, like 12, 15, 18 hours of just flying.
Damn.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it was crazy. So finally Logan and Dominic met us and drove us home. And it was a long fucking day. And then I woke up this morning. I was like, I get to watch High Road to China because we're doing a podcast on that tonight. And I'm so excited.
You were closer to 9 a.m. than you were to 9 p.m.
You are not lying, man. You are not lying.
Yeah.
Oh, I woke up at 9 or 10. I woke up at 10. Oh, yeah, that's another funny thing. The day we flew down was daylight savings changeover. So we lost that hour, and then we drove to Central Time and gained it back, I think, and then flew back into it yesterday, into Eastern Time. So
you don't know what
my watch said one thing, my phone said another, my tablet said another. It was like 3, 4, 5. Each one of them said different things. I'm like, they don't know what the hell's going on here. So it was really crazy. Our clocks were all fucked up. So that was my week. My week was this last day of traveling.
You were traveling when I met Clint Howard then, right?
That's I think you had already met him. I didn't take off.
I went Saturday.
Yeah, last Saturday. I don't think we actually took off till 5:00 p.m. But we were at the airport at like 2:30 or something like that. Yeah.
So I met Adrienne Barbeau and Clint Howard.
Wow.
I got both their autographs.
And you couldn't get Adrienne Barbeau to say like,
nah, but she was really sweet though. Yeah. She was really sweet. But Clint Howard is now number 2, almost tied with Henry Winkler as the nicest celebrity. Yeah.
Oh, really?
He was so nice.
What was his line like?
I was the second person in line.
But did you go there first?
I went there
go there to get in line? Okay.
And next to me was Rose McGowan's line, and that thing was like ridiculous.
Rose McGowan was there.
Yeah, she does not look like Rose McGowan that you like.
You sent a picture of that. She did not look good.
I'll show it to you after. I'll show it to you after the podcast. All those times when people talk about it on podcasts, like I'll show you after, and you're like, I want to see it, and you never got to see it. Now we can do that.
It's worse when they say like, I got something to tell you after the podcast. You're like, what are they going to talk about? Like, oh, come on, just tell us what you're going to talk about.
Or they're like, I'll tell you who.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you.
You want to know who the biggest douche in Hollywood is? I'll tell you after the podcast. Like, come on, give us the initials at least, please. So Clint Howard was really cool.
Yeah, he was really cool, and then. Adrienne Barbeau, and then
Adrienne Barbeau looked good too in that picture.
Yeah, she was talking about she just shot something for that one of those 911 shows. So she's on
the Angela Bassett
show, or Rob Lowe. Is Rob Lowe in one of them?
I don't know. Not Angela Bassett. It's not Angela Bassett. It's shit. I'm spacing. I don't
watch them, but
neither do I. That's why I'm spacing on who it is.
I definitely don't watch it.
So, but I think Rob Lowe's in one of them.
Actually, I think it is Angela Bassett. Sorry. 911. I know those shows.
Yeah,
what was her line like? Because you didn't wait. You had to wait for her, I guess, right?
Her line was maybe there was like maybe 8. She was right next to Clint Howard.
Okay.
So after I was done with Clint Howard, I got right into Adrienne Barbeau's line, and there was maybe like 10 people in front of me in that. But
did you try?
Those were the only 2 that I got.
Did you try? Did you say, hey, can you do a little promo?
There was people behind me, so it made it more difficult. And then and then I had to give my phone to the lady to take the picture.
Sure.
So I didn't have the phone to.
I'm thinking we might need to pay for a cameo for Adrienne Barbeau to do our promo.
Oh yeah, she might be on Cameo. Right?
I mean, why wouldn't she be? It's probably like $200. Isn't it worth it?
If these people do these signings, I don't see why they wouldn't do a cameo.
Yeah.
Michelle was all excited because supposedly Jensen Ackles is going to be in New Brunswick next month or something like that for her signing. I don't know.
And where at? Because I don't know about this one.
I don't know. She said someone must have, Dana or someone sent it to her.
Okay.
And she's like, oh my God, I'm going. I'm like, fine. She's like, oh my God, it's like $200 for a picture. I'm like, yeah, but then you're in a picture with Jensen Ackles. Yeah. That's what you want. Like, that's awesome.
It's
like,
worth it.
It's so worth it. So
that means Christine's going to go.
Maybe it's Christina sent it to her. I don't know. I don't know who sent it to her.
I mean, because I'm excited for Chiller. That's in April.
And that's
in Parsippany.
Mike Love, right? Mike
Love and Priscilla Presley. Yeah. Like what?
I'm really excited for Mike
Priscilla Presley. That'll be fun. I haven't decided.
That's weird that Priscilla Presley's doing it. Like her daughter.
You know what? You know why she's doing it?
Like it's like
I'm going to bring it up because I'm watching.
She has to get out of the house. She can't be thinking about it.
I'm watching a show that she helped create.
Or something like that.
Her and John Eddy. It's called Agent Elvis on Netflix.
I mean, not even heard that.
It's a cartoon.
Promoting something.
Is it?
It's a cartoon.
Is it supposed to be like Elvis the drug, the DEA guy?
It's not that. There's a movie based on that. Okay. I think with Michael Shannon.
Okay.
But this is a cartoon, and it's just 2 episodes have been different about him. But it's like, yeah.
Is it like? I mean, like it's a cartoon. Is it? Like
it's crazy.
Fake?
It's
I
funny.
mean, obviously, it's a cartoon. It's fake. But is it it's like Mike Tyson's Mysteries, like one of those kinds of things where they've taken a real person and
he's
made
really
it silly?
Elvis, though. No, he's Elvis as himself.
Okay.
It's the 68 comeback special.
Oh, okay.
And then there's shit that's happening around that. So,
that sounds like fun.
I watched the first 2 episodes. Yeah, it's a cartoon.
And it's good?
It's been fun, yeah. And it's not PG.
Oh, yeah. That's fun.
Yeah, so it's been interesting, yeah.
Did they get, what's his face to do his voice? The dude that played him in the movie.
There is a lot
Austin
of people.
Butler.
There's a lot of people
Austin
in the
Butler?
voices.
Austin Butler.
Yeah. That didn't sound right when I said it. I said it. I'm like, nah, that can't be it.
I'm gonna pull up some of the voices. Hold on.
Anything else, Brian? besides your Korean love fest?
Oh, I did watch Reservoir Dogs
Really?
yesterday with Brady, and Katie had never seen it.
Wow.
And so she wanted to watch it.
Matthew McConaughey is Elvis. Caitlin Olsen is Cece Ryder. Johnny Knoxville is Bobby Ray. Niecy Nash is Birdie. Tom Kenny. Tom Cheadle. Jason Mantzoukas.
Wow. What a
Priscilla
cast.
Presley.
She's voicing herself in the cartoon.
She is herself. Yep.
Ah,
And
interesting.
Ed Helms. Chris Elliott.
Wow.
He plays Timothy Leary.
I can see that. Who's playing Colonel Tom?
I didn't see anything
not
for him,
in
but
it? Maybe
then
he's
there's
not in
like
it.
people with like one episode. Kieran Culkin has an episode. Fred Armisen plays Charles Manson. Simon Pegg is Paul McCartney. Gary Cole is President Nixon.
Gary Cole.
Wow. What a great cast, man.
Yeah.
I wish they make that a live action thing with those people in
Right?
those roles. Like
It's
I want to see Gary Cole's Richard Nixon.
Yeah.
I've been to the Great Wall of China.
It's a 7.1 on IMDb right now, but I watched the first 2 episodes. It's been fun.
sounds like fun.
I'm going to keep going on it.
I've
Also,
been
the
to-
What's it called again?
Agent Elvis.
Agent Elvis.
Agent Elvis.
Secret Agent Man.
Other
Is there Elvis music in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other things I watched was the MH370, the plane that disappeared.
I
The
saw
Malaysian
that.
Airlines,
I couldn't watch that. I was flying this week. I was like,
documentary.
I have to wait till I'm not about to fly.
And then the Money Shot, the Pornhub story documentary, and I Just Killed My Dad documentary. Those were all on Netflix that I watched.
Who killed whose dad? Who killed their dad?
There's just some dude who
Oh,
killed
okay.
his dad, and then just showed some really crazy shit. He ended up being kidnapped by his real dad when he was a kid. It shows that maybe he wasn't as guilty as he should have been.
For having killed somebody.
Yeah, for having killed his dad.
Sometimes
but,
justifiable homicide.
and then
what was the Pornhub one? Was that good?
nah.
I mean,
really.
was it
Yeah,
not even worth
it was-
watching?
It's not worth watching.
Yeah,
no.
there was a really good one on Amazon, maybe about like former porn stars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I forget now what it was called, but that was really good.
And the last thing I watched this week was the Power Slap Championship.
Is that like a Will Smith documentary or
No,
something?
the Power Slap is that where it's almost like
One of those
arm wrestling,
slapping things
and
where they
stand there and
smash
slap
each other in the face. Yeah, I've seen like TikToks on those and stuff like that. That's awesome.
Call it from the UFC, Dana White.
He
has a
promotes that
league.
too. Okay.
And he was doing a thing where it was going to lead up to a pay-per-view. They were going to do it, and it was going to have a pay-per-view, and then the pay-per-view ended up being free on Rumble. So I rented it for free on Rumble.
And it's honestly just two people smashing each other in the face, open palm slaps.
Open palm slaps, and there's like all kinds of things you can't move.
I was
You
just saying,
can't do
what are the
certain
rules
things.
to that? Like
You have to announce, like you get to measure, and then you have to announce, okay, on the count of 3, on 1, 2, 3. That's when you're going to slap, or on 2, 1, 2. You have to tell when you're going to slap, and then you can only hit in a certain area. If you hit, it could be clubbing, where like if you hit like
hit with bone,
party,
like a little more bone.
Yeah, and then if you pick up your feet as you're pivoting and stuff like that,
Get a
you
little
know?
extra oomph.
You know what I mean? So
And
but if you get the first shot off, if you can get, these guys were knocking people out in the first shot, and I'm talking arms like laid out, like straight,
unconscious,
and,
like
yeah,
knocked
totally.
out with a slap. Wow.
Yeah, you see them like passing out, man. And this one was built around each week on TBS. They were in a house, so they would like have their.
So it was like a Big Brother type of thing, where
They would
were
have
all
their
living
heats
together?
and everything, and then they lived together. But then they were coming to fights at night and everything, and guys were getting kicked out.
They live together?
Yeah. Guys
Is it
were-
like is there like weight classes? Like
Yeah.
does weight matter? I guess it
weight
does.
matters,
right? I guess
because
weight would
they
matter.
had lightweight, and there's this one guy in like one of the not the heavyweights, but in the middle or weight class, and this guy just has a jaw that can take whatever, and he has a hell of a hand because he's not a big dude, but he was knocking these guys out like, and it's just like, whew.
I might have to watch like a half hour of that just to see. Like I've seen like 30-second TikToks where one guy just gets like knocked.
I got in on the ground floor. You know, I mean, I know who Ron Beta, I know who the Wolverine is. You know, I know who these guys are, man. You know,
I'm not a big.
It's like when I first watched the UFC. I remember watching the first like 10 UFCs. I remember when that was like new, and then now it's
so
like
crazy.
UFC 260 something or whatever, because they have like a pay-per-view every other month.
People want to pay to see other people beat the shit out of each other.
I remember in Denver, we watched a UFC, but it was so boring because a guy just jumped on the other guy and
If it turns into a wrestling
made him
match
go
sometimes,
asleep.
Yeah,
Like
those wrestling
and it
matches
was
are pretty
like,
boring.
This isn't fun.
I don't think I've ever watched.
It was like one of the
UFC.
first matches, the
Well, a lot of those
pay-per-views too.
earlier matches had the Gracies in it, and those guys were known for their jiu-jitsu wrestling.
Oh,
wrestling.
My dog was
So-
named after a Gracie.
Oh,
Yeah, Michelle's old boyfriend. That's how old Gracie was, because he wasn't mine. Gracie wasn't mine originally. She came from Michelle's first boyfriend, or boyfriend before me, I should say. There were many before me, just the one, but not the first, the last of many.
Yeah, not the first, but the last.
Not the first, the last. I mean, there were like 50 before.
If you want,
And it was so funny, that was when we were driving. We listened to the Outsiders podcast, and I said to Michelle, I'm like, believe me, I'm like, it's fine. I don't make fun of you at all. You're not. There's not going to be anything you're going to hear. I made fun of her like 5 times in it. Like 5 times I said something shitty, not really shitty, but like made fun of her like, oh, okay, see Thomas Howell, or as Michelle knows him, Tom Howell, because they're like fucking tight, stuff like that. Like every time I said that, she like looks at me
like I never talk about you on a podcast.
I never do, but
Michelle
that's because it was Outsiders, because Michelle had a connection to it.
Yeah, if it's Outsiders or Grease 2, usually her name's going to pop up, possibly. Yeah,
but it was just so funny because every time I could, having just recorded it like the week before, like as the subject started coming, I'm like, ooh, I might say something kind of shitty right now about my wife. And sure enough, I did. If I think I have possibly said something shitty about her, the odds are very much in my favor that I did.
You know where you won't find anything shitty about her? On Spreaker. That's right. And you can find that anywhere else you get our podcast, Google, Spotify, Apple. Pick us up there or anywhere. Give us a rate, subscribe, review, all that good stuff. And it's The Jazoo on Instagram, Jazoo74 on Twitter. It's been the exciting and new mini podcast. I've been Jason.
I'm Andy, AE Gonzo 1970 on Instagram, AE Gonzo 1 on Twitter. I did it backwards. I got it right.
And I'm Brian, Papa Bad Kitty.
Papa Bad Kitty. Papa Bad. I think I actually have to clean up this basement.
What basement?